Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of This Old Cook. If you're new here and first time visitor, then just welcome. Today we're going to make some chicken and chorizo risotto. This is a good one. We love it here in our house. So I'll get the ingredients together and go through them with you. So stay tuned. Right, so let's quickly go through the ingredients then. I've got 350 grams of Arborio risotto rice. It doesn't have to be Arborio, you can use Carnaroli rice. If you're in Spain, they use a rice in their paella called Bomba. If you can find it, it's quite expensive though. I have 2 lemons sliced, one sort of medium onion finely diced. Don't know if you can see that. Finely diced is a bit of a strange thing, but that's kind of the size I choose. I've got 1 clove of garlic. I've got some saffron here. I'm going to use a pinch of that in the stock. I've got 1 litre of homemade chicken stock. Now, you don't have to make your own chicken stock. There is an alternative that's pretty good. Obviously, it's much better if you use your own. Instead, you can use this. These are stock pots, and they're actually, as much as I'm against all this kind of stuff, particularly the stuff in packets, because they put a lot of yeast extract in it, has a very peculiar flavour. But these actually are pretty good. Each one of these pots is meant to do 500 millilitres, but it's not that strong, and you want a really good strong chicken stock in this. So in 1 litre I would put 4 of these stock pots in. You won't need to add any salt because there's quite a bit of salt in here, but that's just an alternative. As you can see here, I've got some white wine. Don't ever omit the white wine. You must put that in, otherwise it's going to be slightly bland. It's probably the single most important thing in the whole dish is the white wine. Don't worry how much you put in, really, because the alcohol is going to burn off, and I use about 175 milliliters of a decent white wine that you're going to drink. I'm going to marinate the chicken a little bit and cook it in the oven, which may be different to how other people cook it, but it's just my way. It's my recipe. I'll do what I want. I use about a pinch or so of mixed herbs. Oh, sorry, didn't see that. Schwartz mixed herbs. I use some garlic granules. I buy those from Amazon in this big thing. And California, the main area for garlic is Gilroy, and I believe that's where this is from. It's really, really good. I'll also be adding a pinch of paprika as well, and a pinch of cayenne pepper in the thighs. Now I've got a packet here that in here it's got 6 chicken thighs. This is going to be enough to feed 3 people with 2 thighs apiece, obviously. It will stretch to 4 if you get another couple of chicken thighs. Then yeah, you can stretch it to 4, no problem. What I'm going to do now is I'll show you. Not everybody likes bones in their chicken thighs, so I'm going to show you how to just take the bone out of one, and then I'm going to let you see what I do with this ring. It's a spicy chorizo ring, and it's really good. So let me just get set up to do the chicken, and then I'll be back in a moment. Right, so I'm just going to bone 1 chicken thigh because I don't mind the bones, but like it's such a nice, kids quite like this dish, and they don't always like bones. So I'm going to show you how to take the bone out. It's quite easy. What you need is a really sharp knife. This is my knife I use for boning. It's seriously sharp, and in fact, sometimes when I look at it, I cut myself. But anyway, let's get on with this. So turn it over. We're going to remove all this excess, hope you can see okay, this excess skin here, because we don't want it to be all fatty. So we'll just take that little bit off. They put that in to increase the weight. So you can see here, hopefully you can see that, you can see the bone there, hopefully you can see it, that runs down there to the end here. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in and just slit down each side of that bone. As I say, I hope you can see it. So just go in, either just run down the bone, the sides of the bone. I really do. Just like that, not all the way through. Then just put your thumb and forefinger in. Don't cut your fingers off. Just go under the bone like so. And then just bring your knife out. All right. So now you're kind of left with this. The bone's almost out, right? Can you see? So what I'm going to do now is just finish this bit off. Trying to figure out the best way to show you. Okay, let's try this. So just run down the bone like so. And each side you've got this bit here and this bit there. Go in. And then just go across. And that's it. There's no bits of bone in there. It's deboned. So that's that. Do you know what? Maybe I'll just do another one if you want to see it. If not, you can just skip through this. By the way, all the ingredients I'll put in the description box, kind of as I usually do. I just keep forgetting to mention that I do it. So, can you see either side here of the bone? Either side there of the bone, not all the way through. Thumb and forefinger through the bone, out, lift it up. Either side. That's it. No bits of bone left, all gone. So there's no need to worry about it. So that's that with the boning. And then what I'm going to do is show you how I slice the chorizo, because what I like to do is remove it's got like a thin papery skin on it, and I don't particularly like that. You can eat it, it's not a problem, but I'm going to show you how I take it off. So be back in a second. Right, something has appeared on here, and I'm sure you've noticed by now. What I forgot to mention in the ingredients is I've got a cup of frozen peas. It just gives that lovely little sort of a lovely little pop of sweetness and so on in the rice. It's really, really good. So I'm sorry about that. So let's deal with this chorizo ring. So we'll cut the end off like this. As I say, it's got like a paper. It's really thin kind of skin on it. As I say, I'm not particularly keen on it, so I always take it off. So I'll just show you how I do this bit, and then I'll slice it up and show you what I do with the chicken. So just here, you see that little bit of skin there? See it? It goes all the way. It's on both. It's on the whole thing. So just slit up like that. Okay, now it will quite simply peel off. You don't have to take it off. I just like to take it off. So that's that. So I'll get that sliced up, and then we'll move on to the chicken marinade kind of. Well, it's not a marinade, but it's kind of a flavoring. It just makes it taste really good. So be back in a second. Right, so I've got all my chicken laid out now, ready to go. So what I'm going to do is start with some of these garlic granules. Not too much, just like a little sort of smidgen on each one, just a little pinch. It's quite strong because it's dried garlic. The hell's dried garlic? Yeah, that'll do. That's good. So I'm going to add, if you don't like heat, I mean, it's not that hot because I'm not using very much, but if you don't like heat, don't put any cayenne pepper in. But I quite like it, so I'm just going to do a little pinch, just like that, like that, just like that, like that, just a little bit. Then I'm gonna add come here, some paprika. It's not smoked paprika, it's just plain paprika. Gives it quite a nice colour because there's paprika. Chorizo is a paprika sausage, so it all works pretty good together. And now a little bit of mixed herbs, just a little sprinkle, just like that. Yeah, that'll do. You don't need to put any oil or anything like that in here because a chicken thigh's got quite a bit of fat in them, so you know, you don't really need to add any extra, especially if you're watching your weight like me. Yeah. So roasting tin, quite shallow. Just like that. That's pretty good. Just give my hands a quick wash. Okay, now on the top, we're just going to add a little bit of paprika. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like that. Yeah. That's that. Right. That's kind of ready. So we're sort of almost ready to get cracking with this now. So go preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius fan. If you don't have a fan, then put it on 200, and we'll get ready to go to the next stage where we're going to cook the chicken and make the risotto. Don't ever be afraid of making risotto this way. It's not difficult. You just keep tasting the rice and seeing how well it's cooked and so on. Anyway, I'll go and get the oven put on and get set up, and you can see what goes on from there. Back in a moment. Right, so the next stage of this, and this is probably where I differ from quite a few recipes, I suppose, and even along with the chicken, because I cook the chicken in the oven. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cook the chorizo in the pan here. What I can say to you about this chorizo is don't have the pan too hot, because chorizo burns like in a second. So I've got this on kind of medium heat. It's quite a thick pan. It'll take a bit of a time to get going, but as I say, don't have it on too hot, because it will burn. But what will happen here is all the I haven't put a lot of oil in the pan. There's a bit, but what will happen is all the oil, all the lovely paprika and garlic spicy oil will come out of those slices of chorizo, and they'll begin to darken, they'll begin to crisp. So at that point, we'll take them out, put them in the bowl. You'll see the lovely color of the oil, and try not to eat them, because these are, if you're having like a party and you want to do a few snacks or whatever to dot around, do this. But like do a ton of it because everybody loves it. Absolutely everybody loves it. So when I've done this, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Right, that's literally been about 5 minutes. It's all ready. So I'm going to take it out now and just bob it into a bowl here. I've put the oven on to heat at 190 degrees Celsius for fan, 200 for non-fan. As I say to you, these will, as they cool, they'll start to go crisp. And you can see how that beautiful coloured oil has come out. And it's spicy, garlicky, and delicious. If anybody smells this, they're going to come rushing in the kitchen and figure out what it is you're cooking, and they're going to try and eat it. So what you need to do is to just beat them off with a shitty stick. Otherwise, you're going to have nothing left. So the next job is I'm going to pop the chicken in the oven. The chicken's going to take 35 minutes to cook. As that gets close, we're going to start making the risotto. It seems a little bit long-winded, but I'm trying to show you every sort of step that you need to take. As I say, don't be scared of cooking risotto this way. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to put just a pinch of saffron into the chicken stock here. It's a bit extravagant, but it'll give the stock such a wonderful color, and you'll see when we're cooking it. So I'll bob the chicken in the oven, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the next stage, and then we're going to just chow down like beasts. Okay, so let's get cracking. Here is the chorizo. Now, Mrs. B came in and grabbed loads of it. I told you, it just goes. It's like lovely. So in this pan here, I've got all the oil and stuff that's come out of chorizo, and I'm going to put in the diced onion. I'm going to let that get cracking in the oil. So it's starting to come along nicely, sizzling nicely. It's on a medium to high heat. We just need to be careful because the oil that's come out of chorizo will burn quite easily. But while that's there, I'm just going to get me a clove of garlic, and I'm going to squeeze that in. Get me naff. Just a crushed clove of garlic. Break that in. I'll do. That's enough. See how the onions are taking on the lovely colour of the oil. The next step is we're going to fry the arborio rice in with the onions until it smells nice and toasty. You can probably see here that I've got my chicken stock all ready to go. It's a beautiful orangey colour. It's going to be superb. As I say, if you use those stock cubes, just don't add any salt to the stock until you've tasted it first. If you're making your own stock, never add any salt until the point you're going to use it, because you might be making a dish where it requires salt, but your chicken stock, you've like salted it already, and it could end up sort of over salty. So this is looking pretty good now. If this bit's a bit long for you, just kind of skip through it, but I just want to show every step of the way. That's looking really good, really good. I tell you, I bought a pack of beef mince from Lidl the other day, and I made a lasagna with it. So I was pre-cooking the mince and making a nice ragu, as Jonathan Ross would say, and I came across 3 pieces of plastic in it. So we emailed them and everything else and took it to the local Lidl store. I kept the packet and we sent receipts and everything else. Not a sausage. We heard nothing from them. So I guess I probably won't be buying mince from them anymore. And it was one of these vac packed things of mince, and it was so compressed, it was ridiculous. It was really hard to break up. Probably why I didn't spot it in the first place. But anyway, right. I think here we're about ready. The onions, I don't know if you can see that. The onions are starting taking on a bit of a brown tinge to the end. It's kind of what we want. So I'm going to put the risotto rice in now. And it looks like a lot, and it sure is. Give that a stir. We're going to cook the rice until it's like really lovely and toasty. Coat it in the oil. Look at that. What a beautiful colour. And the smell is like glorious. Because it's cooking in the chorizo oil, it just looks glorious. So we're going to cook this for a little while until it looks nice and toasty but not burnt. So at that point, I'll come back and show you the next bit. So it's been 5 or 6 minutes now. The rice is starting to smell really toasty. It's got a nice little tinge to it. It smells really good. So the next thing we're going to add now is the wine. Fortunately, there's some left and I haven't drunk it all, which is very unusual. So I said 175 ml of wine. So yeah, that's about right. I just pour it. Look at that. Smell that. Oh man, that smells so good. So what we're going to do now, this is on like a medium to high heat. I'm on number 12 on an induction hob made by AEG. Yours may be different. So all I can say is medium to high heat. So we're going to let that, don't worry about how much wine's gone in there really. The alcohol will burn off. So you're not going to get drunk or anything like that. If you're teetotal, it's fine. Yeah, it's the flavour we're after, not the alcohol. After, yeah. These are not the droids you're looking for. So I've just turned that down to 10 now, as you saw. My little pointing finger touched these things. And I've got the chicken stock here. Hot, you need it hot. Don't use cold. I'm going to just do this in real time and leave it running. It's going to be like probably 15 minutes or so. If it starts to drag out a bit, I'll shorten it. But in the meantime, this is kind of the important bit. I've got a wooden spoon here. I've got from Italy. Okay, so all that wine now is almost absorbed. What will happen is the starch will come out of the rice and it'll go sort of creamy. Um, Obviously, it'll still be hard. So now this is the bit that people worry about. Do I put in one ladle at a time? Do I put the whole pot in? No. But you can start off with probably 3 ladles. I don't know how much this ladle holds. Holds. I should measure it then. But anyway, I'm going to put in 3. Look at the colour. It's very hard to see in the pot, but the colour of that with the saffron is just superb, and it smells absolutely amazing, even if I say so myself. One thing I never do is sort of taste it on camera, because that's a bit daft, really. Because I'm not going to go for all this and then cook it and taste it and go, you know what, that tastes like something unpleasant. So that's why I don't really taste it. It's no good getting Mrs. B to taste it, even though she's been out and eaten after the chorizo, because it's not really valid, is it? I watched one guy's channel and he tasted his own cooking after he cooked it, and I thought he was gonna have an accident in his underwear because it was just so over the top, and I thought, you're such a knob. Sorry about that. Yeah, I won't be doing that. So I'm going to carry on doing a ladle at a time until we're almost there, and then I'll come back and show you where we're at. Right, so we've got about 10 minutes to go. The chicken's almost ready, but you can just turn the oven off and keep that warm in the oven. It's looking good, by the way. So about 3-4 ladlefuls later, this is where we are. It's really starting to look nice and creamy. It tastes glorious. I use that word a lot, but it does, honest. And it smells superb. Fortunately, I've managed to avoid Mrs. B coming out here and robbing any more of this stuff here, the chorizo. And it's not easy. So be back shortly in about another 10 minutes. And we should be about there, ready to put it into practice. See you in a minute. Okay, so we're almost there. I'm going to get the chicken out of the oven. Ready? Can you see that? Look at that crispy skin. Who doesn't like crispy skin? Well, the chickens probably. So this is about at the tenderness that I want. So the next step is I'm going to add in the chorizo. Give it a little stir. I've used all the stock, by the way. I've used the whole litre. What I'm also going to put in now are the cup of peas, which is a bit like a capybara if you're in Australia, only green. I apologise, sometimes I talk such rubbish. So yeah, man, that looks good. So next we're going to add the slices of lemon. Just like that. Okay. Chicken and lemon, obviously, just a perfect match. So now we're going to add these chicken thighs. Unfortunately, the skin has gone like really crispy. It's not my fault. It's just one of those things that happens. Dude. I need to get my oven gloves. You know, why do people, especially blokes, when they get these, why do they always clack them like that? I don't know. It's the same when you're barbecuing. Blokes always clack your clackers like that. It drives me mad. I try not to do it, but you can hear a lot of scraping. Yeah, you know what? That's kind of ready. That is ready. So I'm going to turn the heat off. Just like that. Yeah, that went well. And I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. And then we're going to get ready. And it's ready to eat. You need to give it 5 minutes to just rest. Let the chicken stock and so on just absorb a bit more into the rice. It'll be absolutely beautiful. So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. I'm sorry about any language or whatever. So we're going to get chowed down like beasts. Thanks for watching. And next up is going to be Kung Po chicken. I need to just tell you that I did spend a bit of time with a lovely Chinese lady I met in Surbiton that owned a small Chinese grocery shop. This was many, many years ago. She also owned a restaurant and showed me a lot of techniques. So the Kung Po chicken and cashew nuts that I'm going to show you next is actually how they make it. And there's a technique that I'm going to share with you that makes the chicken different, like night and day. Absolutely night and day. So I'll see you on the next one. Kung Po chicken and cashew nuts. It's bloody lovely.